how to resist being hard on ourselves.
So I find whenever, because I think I'm sure everybody would feel that way. That's why I thought it would be good if we can kind of still touch on it. The way I see it, when we're hard on ourselves, usually it comes from a place of shame. And shame usually develops from parental and societal conditioning. You know, we usually develop that good child complex, and which stays with us, like I said, into adulthood. So we have that perfectionistic sort of rigid rules that we try to adhere to, and we do that in order to feel loved. Ultimately, you know, all we want is love, and that's really what drives us, even though it might not look like that on the surface, but actually that's usually what it is. But inevitably, you know, we aren't able to live by these rules because they're unrealistic, and then we develop guilt and shame when we struggle to kind of live by them. And so what I would encourage is, instead of succumbing to this behavior and staying stuck, being hard on yourself, it's really important to practice mindfulness, gratitude, self-compassion. I'm sure you've all heard of those things. But what I would encourage is, instead of focusing like with, you know, you have tunnel vision and focusing just on that one thing you did or didn't do, I'd encourage you to try and just expand your view so that you can have more of a balanced view of what took place or what didn't take place. So have that context, which allows you to just see that, you know, you did the best in that situation with the knowledge or energy you had at that time. And it just can help you just to have, a bit more of an understanding and therefore compassion. But I always ask myself, you know, what's the lesson here, just to try and understand, rather than focusing on the berating of yourself or shaming yourself. Rather focus or turn the guilt into growth. You know, feeling discomfort usually helps bring your attention to what's important in your life. And so maybe just ask yourself, what would you like to nurture? I think the important thing that I'd like to just add as well is, what you practice grows stronger. So if you continue to be hard on yourself, you're strengthening that story. And that's just neuroscience. Like, that is what's happening. And so it's kind of like, you know, which wolf are you feeding? And it's important to keep that in mind, that when we keep thinking the same thing over and over and over and allow that beration, you are making it stronger. And so decide, you know, I don't know if you've heard that story of which wolf are you feeding. It's, you know, the one's the more compassionate one, the one's the harder one. But a quick exercise, I won't be able to do the exercise with you, but there's this might help you, is try and create a compassionate character in your life, whether it's like a cartoon character that you loved as a child, or a famous person, or just a real life person that you admire. Or you can, you know, create a creature if you want. You know, it can be a fantasy type creature, and just to try and give it as much detail as possible, and just like, what would it say to you? I think the qualities that this person needs to have is, you know, this wisdom and compassion and understanding and a warm tone. So it's kind of like, what would you say to a friend? But you can kind of create your own compassionate image of something or someone, and like, well, what would they say to you? And that can just help you get a little bit out of that berating type thought. The other thing is, you could change the way you say things, because often when we berate ourselves, it's got a tone. So try and listen for that tone, and it often is a parent voice, but try and just make it a softer voice as well. And, you know, the way we say things to ourselves, it's not only the words, it's the way it's been said. So try to just change the voice a little bit, just to make it sound different, and see how you feel with that. Of course, if you say things like, oh, like, what an idiot, or something like that, that's not helpful. But more like, again, see the growth in it. Well, okay, well, what was it about that I'm getting stuck on? And how can I learn from this? But I think, yeah, if you can experiment with self-compassion. But remember, self-compassion is about practice. It's with anything, like, really, it's whatever you practice grows stronger. So if you can, you know, have a practice every day, even if it's a little bit of something, it just takes 1 minute of what you're grateful for, or something you did that was good for you, or something that you're learning. Just try and embody that if you can, and bring that into your life and have it as a lifestyle change.